welcome to the Dr. Ali Show. My name is Dr. Ali Mendelson, and every week I talk about ways to get healthy and to stay healthy naturally. So today I'm going to be talking about artificial sweeteners. Aspartame equals Splenda, and I'm also going to be giving you things that you can use instead of these. So most people use these assuming, well, it's approved by the FDA, it must be safe, and well, it's an artificial sweetener, so it probably helps control my weight, right? So none of these assumptions are both false, unfortunately, and millions of people use aspartame with these assumptions in mind. So aspartame has a very tainted history of approval with the FDA, and the ingredients in aspartame are very toxic and can be very dangerous. And furthermore, aspartame has actually been shown to increase your appetite, which is not what you want when you're trying to lose weight, right? You want to decrease your appetite. So let's just talk for a few minutes about problems resulting from aspartame. Now, I want you to listen closely because there are many people that I meet that come to my office, that call me, that email me, that have some very strange symptoms when they call. And many times I can pick out a few of their symptoms and say, I know that you drink a lot of artificial sweeteners because of these symptoms. And when they give up the artificial sweeteners, some of those symptoms can actually go away. So let's talk about a few disorders associated with aspartame and start understanding how dangerous this really is. Isn't Nutrateeth a little blue packet? How dangerous that little blue packet really is. So a study funded by Monsanto, actually, Monsanto did a study to find out if birth defects could be caused by consuming aspartame. And I think that they were probably hoping that it wouldn't be related to it. But what happened was, when they were doing the study, they cut the study off after the preliminary data showed how damaging aspartame is and how closely related it is to causing birth defects. Additionally, in the book While Waiting, a prenatal guidebook, it stated that aspartame is suspected of causing brain damage to the baby in sensitive individuals. And some researchers have suggested that high doses of aspartame may be associated with problems ranging from dizziness and subtle brain changes to more serious brain and mental health conditions. So a lot of people, like I said, if you have maybe some unexplained dizziness, I would highly recommend you come see me. We can talk about it. But if you're taking these artificial sweeteners, cut yourself off cold turkey and see if some of the dizziness goes away. Aspartame has also been associated with brain cancer. In 1981, an FDA statistician stated that the brain tumor data on aspartame was so worrisome that he could not recommend approval of NutraSweet. I don't know why it was approved, but he didn't want to recommend approval because of how closely associated aspartame was with brain cancer. And in a 2-year study conducted by the manufacturer of aspartame, 12 of 320 rats fed a normal diet and aspartame developed brain tumors, while none of the control rats developed brain tumors. And 5 of the 12 tumors were in rats given low doses of aspartame. So those are very serious considerations. Let's talk about the relationship of aspartame to diabetes, because I do see a lot of people with diabetes, and many of them are under the false impression that artificial sweeteners are okay because they're not sugar. Let me first start by saying the reason why sugar is a problem with diabetics is because it gets in your bloodstream and causes the release of insulin, which damages your body. The insulin being released is the problem. Okay, it's not the sugar causes the insulin to be released. That's why it's a problem. Now, unfortunately with artificial sweeteners, when an artificial sweetener hits your bloodstream, your brain and body recognize that as a sugar and releases insulin. So there's absolutely, and then actually the insulin stores the artificial sweetener in your cells, so you become massively toxic. So it's not any better to use artificial sweeteners when you're diabetic. And of course, it's worse because of the massive amounts of toxicity associated with these. So aspartame in diabetics, this has been some research conducted by a diabetes specialist. I read about this through the American Diabetes Association, said that aspartame, number one, leads to the precipitation of clinical diabetes, so it can make your diabetes worse. It causes poorer diabetic control in diabetics on insulin or drugs, or like metformin or something. It leads to aggravation of diabetic complications such as eye problems, cataracts, neuropathy, and gastroparesis, which means your stomach and digestive system can shut down. And aspartame also causes convulsions in diabetics. And also, let me read you another part of this. Unfortunately, many patients, this is a quote from one of the researchers, unfortunately, many patients in my practice and others seen in consultation developed serious metabolic, neurological, and other complications that could be specifically attributed to using aspartame. This was evidenced by the loss of diabetic control, the intensification of hypoglycemia, the occurrence of presumed insulin reactions, including convulsions that proved to be aspartame reactions, and the precipitation, aggravation, or simulation of diabetic complications while using these products. And so dramatic improvements of such features after avoiding aspartame, and the prompt, predictable recurrence of these problems when the patient resumed aspartame, knowingly or inadvertently. So it was very closely associated with these problems. It's very dangerous for diabetics to take aspartame. And aspartame is also associated with epilepsy and seizures. With the large and growing number of seizures caused by aspartame, it's so unfortunate that the Epilepsy Foundation is promoting the safety of aspartame. At MIT, 80 people who had suffered seizures after ingesting aspartame were surveyed, and Community Nutrition Institute concluded the following about the survey. These 80 cases meet the FDA's own definition of an imminent hazard to the public health, which requires the FDA to expeditiously remove the product from the market. But the product obviously was never removed from the market. This is really interesting when I found this. Both the Air Force magazine's Flying Safety and the Navy's magazine, Navy Physiology, published articles warning about the dangers of aspartame. The articles note that the ingestion of aspartame can make pilots more susceptible to seizures and vertigo. 20 articles sounding warnings about ingesting aspartame while flying have also appeared in many other aviation magazines. Too many to even mention, to be honest with you. And so there was even a hotline set up for pilots suffering from acute reactions to aspartame ingestion. And over 600 pilots have reported symptoms, including some who have reported suffering grand mal seizures in the cockpit due to aspartame. That is serious. That is a serious, dangerous chemical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk more about this today, but what I'm going to do is invite you to come to my office for a workshop. So every month in my office, I have workshops on how to eat healthy, how to get rid of sugar, and what you use to replace. What do you eat instead of the artificial sweeteners? What do you eat instead of sugar? And at my next workshop, we are going to be talking about that, giving you real action steps to take. So if you're someone who's addicted to sugar and now addicted to aspartame or Splenda or something, and you're scared to take it now, which I hope you are, get to my workshop and we'll get you really great ideas on how to get rid of this stuff, get the stuff out of your diet. So my number is 888-522-3331. My name is Dr. Allie Mendelson. I'm in Farmington, and every month I have workshops, and they're no charge. So why don't you call me, sign up for the next workshop. We'll get you in, and we'll clean up your diet. We'll get rid of these artificial sweeteners, as well as getting rid of sugar. Okay, so let me ask you this question: why don't we hear about all of these dangerous side effects of aspartame? I mean, if there's a hotline for pilots suffering from acute reactions, this is obviously an enormous problem. So the reason many people don't hear about serious reactions is twofold. One is just lack of awareness by the general population. Aspartame-caused diseases are not reported in the newspapers like plane crashes. And this is because these incidents occur one at a time in thousands of different locations across the country. That's one reason. Another reason is most people don't associate their symptoms with the long-term use of aspartame. That's what I was talking about before. Like, a lot of people call me with these really strange symptoms, and because I understand the side effects of artificial sweeteners, I say you got to get rid of artificial sweeteners, because these, 3 out of 7, excuse me, of your symptoms are related to artificial sweeteners. Now, that's not the only thing that we do. You need to do a lot of other things for your health, but sometimes just getting rid of that can get rid of some of your symptoms. And so for people who have killed a significant percentage of their brain cells, thereby caused a chronic illness, there's no way that they would really normally associate such an illness with aspartame consumption. But I want to tell you today that if you have noticed strange symptoms, you have no idea where they're coming from, your doctor has no idea where they're coming from, give me a call and we'll talk about it. You can come in for a free consultation and we can see what's going on with you. My name is Dr. Allie Mendelson. My number is 888-522-3331. All right, let's move on to Splenda, because Splenda is one of the biggest, newest artificial sweeteners that claims to be totally safe, just like sugar, made from sugar, all of this stuff. So is it really as safe as it claims to be? Well, there has not been very many studies on Splenda, to be completely honest with you. And why is that? Maybe there have been lots of studies and they just haven't been reported. So as of a few years ago, there were only 6 human trials conducted on Splenda, or also known as sucralose, in case something has sucralose in it. Of these 6 trials, only two of the trials were completed and published before the FDA approved sucralose for human consumption. And the 2 published studies had a grand total of 36 total human subjects. That's not a lot of people. 36 people, it's not a lot. But it gets worse. Only 23 total were actually given sucralose for testing. And here's the real killer. The longest trial at that time that the FDA approved it only lasted 4 days and only looked at sucralose in relation to tooth decay, not human tolerance. So the FDA basically approved Splenda or sucralose with basically no studies. No studies done. They have absolutely no idea what it does to your body. And they said, yeah, sure, that's fine. Just eat lots of that. That's great. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And you need to know. In order to take care of your body, you need to know the truth, right? So Splenda is best known for its marketing logo, made from sugar, so it tastes like sugar. And it's taken the sweetener industry by storm, obviously. Splenda's everywhere. It's become the nation's #1 selling artificial sweetener, and it did that in a really short period of time. So like between 2000 and 2004, the percentage of people using Splenda jumped from 3% to 20% in just 1 year. And Splenda sales topped 177 million compared to 62 million spent on aspartame equal, and 52 million on saccharin sweet and low. So it really has become very prevalent. It's everywhere. Kids are eating it. Everyone's eating it, thinking it's great, and it's not. So McNeil Nutritionals, people who make Splenda, in their marketing pitch for Splenda, they say that Splenda has endured some of the most rigorous testing to date for any food additive, enough so to convince the average consumer that it is in fact safe. They claim that over 100 studies have been conducted on Splenda. What they don't tell you is that most of the studies are on animals. There has been no long-term human toxicity studies published until after the FDA approved Splenda or sucralose for human consumption. Following the FDA approval, a human toxicity trial was conducted, but lasted only 3 months. Hardly the length of time most Splenda users plan to consume it. And no studies to date have ever been done on children or pregnant women. Yet these products are recommended for children and pregnant women. So much of the controversy surrounding Splenda, it doesn't just focus on its safety, it also focuses on its false advertising. So the competition among sweeteners is unbelievable. And the sugar industry is currently suing McNeil Nutritionals for implying that Splenda is a natural form of sugar with no calories. Obviously, that doesn't even make sense, does it? Doesn't it sound a little too good to be true? Especially because it's a complete lie. There are things that are safe to consume. Stevia is safe to consume. Stevia is sweet. It's completely natural it's from an herb. And it's very, very sweet. And it doesn't trigger your body to release insulin. and there are no side effects. And xylitol is also safe for everyone, including diabetics, just like stevia. It's made from the best xylitol is made from pine trees. It's naturally occurring. It's processed slightly, but it's a very natural product. Your body does not release insulin when you consume xylitol, and it's very safe to consume. There have never been any studies or long-term studies or anything showing that any bad things ever happen from taking xylitol. So there are things that you can take that are sweet, that are not sugar and not artificial sweeteners. So there's definitely things that you can do. Again, if you want to sign up for my workshop, I have a workshop every month, and I always talk about sugar and replacing sugar and how to get off your sugar addiction in any workshop I do, because it's really one of the biggest problems that people have. So my next workshop is coming up. Please give me a call. My name is Dr. Allie. I'm in Farmington. My number is 888-522-3331. So call me, and you can call me for a consultation if you want to talk to me, free consultation. You can also sign up for my free workshop. So just give me a call and let me know. 888-522-3331. So I'm going to finish up a little bit with Splenda. So just Splenda, or sucralose, definitely starts off as a sugar molecule, but it's what goes on in the factory that is concerning. So sucralose is a synthetic chemical that was originally cooked up in a laboratory. And in the 5-step patented process of making it, 3 chlorine molecules are added to sucrose or sugar. A sucrose molecule is a disaccharide that contains 2 simple sugar bonds bounded together, glucose and fructose. So the chemical process to make sucralose, it alters the chemical composition of the sugar so much that it is somehow converted to a fructogalactose molecule, which, if you didn't know, is a type of sugar molecule that does not occur anywhere in nature. And because it doesn't occur anywhere in nature, and it naturally occur anywhere in nature, your body has absolutely no idea how to properly metabolize it. And as a result of this, McNeil Nutritionals makes its claim that Splenda is not digested or metabolized by the body, making it have 0 calories. So they're saying, well, if your body has absolutely no idea what it is, they're saying that's a good thing. So it'll just go right through you and it doesn't have any calories. There's so much wrong with that. I don't even know where to start. For one thing, you don't want to put something in your body that's not supposed to be there. Your body has no idea what it is or what to do with it. That's not good. And it still doesn't mean that there's no calories, even though your body doesn't know what to do with it. So if you look at the research, which is primarily extrapolated from animal studies, because there's not a lot of research on humans, you will see that 15% of sucralose or Splenda is absorbed into your digestive system and ultimately is stored in your body. Okay, so to reach a number such as 15% means some people absorb more and some people absorb less. In one human study, 1 of the 8 participants did not excrete any sucralose even after 3 days. So here, clearly his body was absorbing and metabolizing this chemical. So that's what our bodies are supposed to do. So here it is that now here's this chemical that your body has no idea what it is. And in fact, you are absorbing it and storing it in your body. It's a chemical that's being stored, which is why it causes the problems that it causes. So the bottom line is that we all have our own unique biological makeup. So some of you will absorb and metabolize more than others. And, it's impossible for the manufacturers of Splenda to make any guarantees based on their limited animal data, obviously. So the entire issue of long-term safety has never been established. But let's just quickly go over the facts again. There have been only 6 human trials of Splenda. The longest trial lasted 3 months, and at least 15% of Splenda is not excreted from your body in a timely manner. Those are very, very worrisome problems with Splenda. So considering that Splenda bears more chemical similarity to DDT than it does to sugar, are you willing to bet your health on this data? Remember that fat-soluble substances such as DDT can remain in your fat for decades and completely devastate your health. So if the above facts don't concern you because you believe the FDA would never allow a toxic substance into the market, then I'm going to talk more about it because I know some people are like, oh, it's fine. And I mean, of course you trust the FDA. I mean, I understand why you would, but I want you to start thinking, I want you to be healthier and start thinking, really looking at what you're putting into your body. That's what it's all about. Let's put healthy stuff in our body. Let's put stuff that was meant to be in our bodies. Does that make sense? If something has never been, if a chemical doesn't exist in nature, there's probably a reason for it. We may or may not know what that reason is, but I bet there's a reason for it. And if your body can't process it, it's just going to absorb it. It's going to absorb some of it and store it in your system. That chemical could have devastating effects, which honestly, we don't really even know what they are because there've never been any studies. So it's just really not worth it. Again, xylitol and stevia are really good substitutes for artificial sweeteners because you don't want to do sugar either, because I can do a whole show on sugar. I might actually do that, a whole entire show on how bad sugar is. So xylitol and stevia are really great ways to get something sweet and natural. Not worry about chemicals and death and side effects and everything else. So another thing about artificial sweeteners, this is really interesting. Artificial sweeteners ruin your body's ability to count calories. So a study revealed that eating artificial sweetened foods and drinks sweetened with artificial sweeteners hinders your body's ability to estimate calorie intake, thus boosting your body's your inclination to eat too much. Does that make sense? So here's a study. The first group of rats, it was done in rats, were given 2 liquids, both of which contained naturally high-calorie sweeteners. Natural. So sugar, maple syrup, I don't know, it doesn't say. The second group of rats were given 2 liquids, one that was sweetened with saccharin and one that was sweetened with sugar. Both groups were given a sweet, high-calorie, chocolate-flavored snack after 10 days into the study. Here's what the study said. The rats that were given the artificially flavored liquid had a more difficult time differentiating their calorie intake and displayed the tendency to overeat. The rats given artificially sweetened drinks were found to consume, listen to this, 3 times more calories than rats that didn't receive any sweeteners in their drinks. So basically what this is saying is that if you eat a lot of artificial sweeteners, you're going to overindulge in sweets, because artificial sweeteners, the chemicals in these sweeteners, messes with your body's ability to determine sweetness. And you end up craving and eating much more sweets than you would if you just had plain old sugar, right? So it's really, I can go on and on. I think I have more studies. I can go on and on about this. There's just so many people that come into me that eat this and that really think that it's okay, that they think they're doing something good. And because you were told that it's good. I mean, you're told that it's good to do these things. You don't know. You believe what you're told, of course, but I want you to start looking at this differently. You never want to eat something or put something in your body that isn't natural, that's not supposed to be there. Start reading labels. Artificial sweeteners hide in a lot of different things. Even things that have sugar in them have artificial sweeteners in them. In fact, just recently, there's been some articles published saying that the dairy industry is considering putting artificial sweeteners in the milk and not telling you. That's a whole nother issue there. I don't know why they're doing that, to be totally honest, but that's what I've been reading lately. So that's really, really new. But you really don't want to put anything artificial in your body. Doesn't that make sense? We can look at studies, and it's great to look at that, because it really gets you thinking like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that headaches, ear buzzing, dizziness, nausea, gastrointestinal disturbances, weakness, vertigo, chills, memory lapses, numbness and shooting pains in the extremities, behavioral disturbances, and neuritis. I never knew any of those could be associated with drinking Diet Coke. But guess what? They're all associated with artificial sweeteners. And it's very dangerous to mess around with any kind of toxin in your system. Your body was designed to consume food naturally, the way things, that's what you eat. You don't have to memorize all this stuff and any of these things. You have to understand that your body was designed beautifully, and you eat the food and you put stuff in your body that's natural. We don't want to put chemicals in our body or our children's body. You just don't want to do that. So if you're interested in learning more about getting rid of artificial sweeteners, getting rid of sugar, learning how to take care of your body properly, please give me a call. My name is Dr. Ali Mendelson. My number is 888-522-3331. And you can schedule a free consultation with me if you're one of the first 10 callers. And you can also schedule, sign up for one of my workshops and bring your friends. Just let me know, give me a call, let me know who's coming. I do workshops every month, and we always, inevitably, always talk about sugar and getting sugar and artificial sweeteners out of your diet, because it's just probably, it's the biggest problem that people have, I think. One of the absolute biggest problems in our country is the amount of sugar and chemicals that we consume. So anyway, that is, gosh, there's so much more to say. I'm not even sure if I should talk about any more of this stuff. Let's just talk about getting healthy. So what you want to replace artificial sweeteners with is stevia and xylitol, because those are natural substances. Your body does not recognize them as a sugar. So your body does not release insulin. It does not lead to weight gain. It's totally safe for diabetics, and they taste sweet. Some people think stevia is a little bitter, and if you find stevia to be a little bit bitter, you can try xylitol, which is personally what I use. I don't like stevia. I do find it to be bitter. So I love using xylitol. It looks and tastes like sugar, but I don't feel sick because I haven't eaten sugar in years. But if I do have a little bit by mistake, I feel it. When I can eat xylitol and have absolutely no problems from it. So there are definitely things that you can do. I'm not telling you, okay, I never want you to eat anything sweet ever again, because that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. No one wants to do that. People love their food and love their sweets, and I love my sweets. So, but I make everything. We find stuff that has xylitol in it. We find things that are natural. And I'll teach you everything that you need to do to get this stuff out of your life and to just get really, really healthy. Okay? So again, give me a call if you want to sign up for one of my workshops. With you can bring your friends. Just let me know who's coming. Or if you want to schedule a time to come to meet with me to have a free consultation about your health. So again, my name is Dr. Ali Mendelson. My number is 888-522-3331. And you can also log on to my radio show website and listen to my shows. And that's drallieshow.com. DRALLIE show.com. You can go under archives and listen to my old shows, send me an email, sign up for my newsletter, whatever you need. I'm here to help you. So I hope to hear from you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.